Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has raised strong questions to the transfer of several senior state officials by the Election Commission of India, describing the move as abrupt, unilateral, and lacking justification. Now, in a letter addressed to the Chief Election Commissioner, Gyanesh Kumar, yesterday, Banerjee expressed deep concern and surprise over the poll body's decision to reassign key members of the state administration shortly after the announcement of the assembly elections. But what I'm reading, and this is one of the latest news, that a second round of transfers has also taken place. Now, the poll body, if you remember, had replaced ADG, IGPs of the South and the North Bengal regions, the police commissioners of Howrah, Barrackpur, Chandanagar and Asansol Durgapur, as well as 12 superintendents of police and a deputy commissioner across 13 districts. Now, the first round of transfers was carried out in the state's top bureaucracy just hours after the ECI announced the assembly elections scheduled on Sunday for four states, including West Bengal and the Union Territory of Puducherry. And the second round of transfers took place on Monday. So this is how the transfers have taken place. Now, the question we are asking is this politically motivated? Is PEC justified in this kind of a transfer spree? And the kind of objections which are coming in from West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, are they well placed? Joining me this evening is retired bureaucrat and also someone who's been the former CEO of Prasar Bharati and also has been the CEO of State Election Commission in West Bengal. So thank you so much. Mr. Jawhar Sircar joins us this evening. Mr. Sarkar, thank you so much. And I'll begin with a question that this kind of a transfer, do you think that this is unprecedented? Because when the election dates are announced and the model code of conduct is in place, then the entire state machinery is under the CEC. But if this kind of a transfer is taking place, would you call it political? Would you say that it's well founded?
Well, this scale of transfer or the level of transfer is rather eye-catching. It hasn't happened before that a chief secretary is removed. I don't think any state, any chief secretary has ever been removed by the election commission. I was trying to go through the data, but nothing is available. So the removal of a state's administrative head, the chief secretary, is a signal by the election commission that somebody has to read it in his own way, in her own way. There are another series of transfers also initiated by the election commission after the model code came into contact. In fact, the election commission's powers begin with the model code of conduct. So the timing is what the law says. But then there are two issues where you come only to the chief secretary. Number one, I don't think Bengal has ever seen in history three batches of officers superseded to make somebody a chief secretary. Somebody who has been in marginal postings all her life, the main part of her life, somebody who's not absolutely shining with glory, as we put it, was suddenly became a hot favorite in the last 2 years and made home secretary and then chief secretary, superseding three batches, 8 officers. That is also eye-catching, striking, and notable. So the election commission perhaps picked on this person as they must have reports about her neutrality. They go by the basis of reports also, not all by personal bias, because questions are also called. But where the larger scale of transfers of almost every police commissioner and every place that is concerned, I think it's a bit of an overreach. The Home Secretary has also been removed. The Home Secretary has been removed in the past as well. Police Commissioner has been removed in the past as well. But the scale of transfers this time and the speed with which it is being given shows quite a premeditated plan. Now, I must step in here to say that the Election Commission is not being viewed in West Bengal in any kind light. It has initiated a lot of problems for the people in West Bengal, and its constant allegations that the state is full of illegal immigrants has not been proved. So, a person sitting in such a senior place should not make comments that one cannot prove. Then come out with the figures. You are in charge of roles, to come out with the figures and say so many lakhs out of so many crores are illegal immigrants. So it cannot make statements from the commission and give a wrong impression. That is, so the commission's bias and the commission's very confused, convoluted way of functioning has come in for very sharp criticism. Very sharp criticism. So while the commission's powers to transfer remain, and while the Commission has transferred officers in the past, the scale, speed, and the depth with which it is being done is being viewed as political. Though, as I said, in the case of the Chief Secretary, I have volunteered to say that it may not be taken as very amiss by many people because her posting itself was rather noticeable the way this happened.
Right, but
About
the counter argument, Mr. Sarkar, to this is that the election commission is well within its right. It's empowered to transfer officials directly involved in elections under Article 324 of the Constitution. So
yes.
legally and technically, the CEC is right, and that's what the counter argument is coming from various quarters.
You have the power. Many people have the power. The police have the power to shoot and kill. You don't do it all the time. That's the point.
Right.
But in this case, my humble question to the Election Commission is that every time you go in for this large scale demonstrative transfers of officials in opposition ruled states, how much do you do in BJP ruled states? I'm not talking of this particular gentleman. I'm talking of the other two or three ones who have preceded him, where the bias has started coming out from 2019 elections, 18-19, when Sunil Kumar Arora was there. The bias has been a part of the public refrain, complaints. There's volumes of data on this. Now, how much do you exercise these powers when it comes to BJP ruled states? So that also has to be available. Secondly, the scale of transfers of IPS and other officers across the state is sort of a demonstration of some sort of a power, some sort of a hegemonic behavior,
Right.
uh, which really strikes your eye, strikes your eye. So.
What you're pointing out, I just want to put out a tweet of IANS where Mamata Banerjee has addressed the press. And Abhirami, if you're there backstage, can we have that IANS tweet which talks about what Mamata Banerjee is suspecting and the kind of conspiracy or maybe a larger design at which you are hinting. Now, look at this tweet where Mamata Banerjee is saying that. She says they are deciding who will be the chief secretary here so they can distribute money with these people, bring in arms, bring in drugs. We live here together with harmony. Their plan is to create riots and divide them. 60% Bengali people have been deleted. So these are the fears which he has expressed on the transfer of officials, and especially if the chief secretary has been changed. Is it in line with what exactly you have said, Mr. Sarkar? That it looks like
No,
some
no,
grand.
no, 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 no. I wouldn't put it so dramatically. It's a
Okay.
political statement, and I've not seen it. And just the transfer of a chief secretary or putting somebody as a chief secretary, the person who has been put in, I found out from people, is supposed to be a decent fellow, a decent person who was superseded. So, I mean, he's not in the habit of issuing such devastating orders. Besides, even if you put in, say, Ganesh Kumar type of person as the Chief Secretary of West Bengal, and even if that person issues all sorts of dangerous orders, the rest of the pyramid won't obey because those orders are beyond the remit of the
Hmm.
Chief Secretary or the Home Secretary. So I think I have not seen what Ms. Banerjee has said,
Hmm.
But if the two and two are tied up together to riots and to devastation, I don't think the picture is
No, but she's gone
perfect.
one step ahead, Mr. Sarkar. If I may just read out a few more portions of what Mamata Banerjee has said. She's also giving it a slightly communal tone. She says that why are senior officers being transferred just before Eid? Are there plans to trigger riots before the elections? Then she's alleged that the list of officers who were transferred was prepared at the BJP's office and the decision was merely implemented by the Election Commission. She further says that some officials from outside West Bengal had been brought in to assist the BJP in the electoral process. They have brought in some people from outside the state to help the BJP. So she goes up to that extent. And then she also accuses the poll panel of acting under political pressure. She says that EC is playing a nice game on behalf of the BJP. So I want a reaction from you on what Mamata Banerjee has said.
No, no, she has said a lot of statements in that short little bit that you gave me. When it comes to the transfer of officers by the EC within West Bengal leading to riots, it's a bit sounds. I mean, bit sounds a bit odd. I've served there for about 40 years. It doesn't work that way. Eid also is again partly coincidental. A counter question that I would like to ask the Chief Minister is how many officers has she transferred? In the last 15 days, she has transferred, according to various estimates, at least 60 to 70 critical officers, SDMs, subdivisional officers, ADMs, DMs. She herself has transferred about 60 to 70 of them. So
Hmm.
one could always attribute motives either way. She
Hmm.
has transferred 60 to 7. They have transferred some critical 15, 20 here. So both sides are on it. Why do you need to transfer so many persons before the election? That's what I asked the state chief minister as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
The other thing that she has said about riots and all that, well, it's a copybook situation.
Hmm.
One knows that any party that is wedded to communal theories and communal doctrines in the past and even in the present have a propensity to communalize situations. So
Hmm.
that part of a fear is part of a fear that all people in Bengal, I mean, not all, because they have also their supporters. Many people in Bengal also suspect that if you trigger a riot, then you polarize votes. Then
Hmm.
you polarize votes. So she has expressed that fear. She
Hmm.
has expressed that fear, and that fear is quite genuine.
Right,
That
but
polarization.
she has also pointed out that this move, where you transfer so many officers, also undermines the cooperative federal principles. Do you see this as a violation of the federal structure as well, where the CEC is on a transfer spree and not one and two, but in dimes and dozens?
Well, yes, it is. It is usually in my time also. We transferred a few officers, but the CEC spoke to me as CEO. I spoke to the chief secretary, and I said we would like these officers not to be there. And the chief secretary himself removed them. We had some understanding, as I put it, some
Hmm.
working relation. Right now, there are no working relations. It's hostility on both sides will cost Bengal quite dearly. If,
No, but Mr. Sarkar, I think you would be able to explain that very well. That what is the yardstick or what is the benchmark? What is the criteria on which the officials get transferred during the elections? Is it to maintain neutrality or is it some other reason? What is the basis for the transfer and not like one or two, but so many transfers and it's happening on both ends. You are saying Mamata Banerjee also has transferred, and here the CEC is also transferring.
Okay, the usual criteria is that the officer has spent a long time there and may have developed interests, may have developed, maybe under the influence of, let us say, the ruling group. If you spend a long time and you're cohabiting with a ruling group, maybe you are under their shadow, that sort of a feeling. And therefore, so few transfers do take place. Others, the intelligence reports of the state and the center give a feedback, but the scale of transfers that the Bengal government has done is also quite remarkable. Quite remarkable. I was going through those transfers. Why do you need to transfer your own officers? That means you don't have a faith in them that they would be able to carry out the elections in the manner in which you want, or that they might be cracking up under pressure. What are you trying to say? The whole cadre gets confused. The person who's settled in some station is suddenly told to move 200 miles away. You please consider they have families, they have school going children. When you transfer
Yes.
someone, remember these routes. So a transfer takes place in a very decent manner. The scale of transfers done by the state government and the number of transfers done by the state government is also quite eye-catching. And the transfers made by the election commission is equally eye-catching, equally demonstrative. So it's a two-two meme game going on. Two-two
Obviously,
meme game.
what you've explained is clearly politics playing out on both sides. But also, one of the questions which has been raised by Saket Gokhale, who's the MP, TMC MP, says that why is the Election Commission selectively favoring central agencies and forces? Now, is there a merit in this question which Saket has raised?
The election commission and the home ministry, election commission alone doesn't do this thing. It has to consult the home ministry. And the home ministry have put in a the
I'm
last elections.
Yes, sir. I lost your audio
They
in
have
between.
put in.
Yeah, yeah.
So they have put in a lot of central forces since that last two elections. So they have been putting, and in fact, at one point I counted in the last elections, the number of central forces was higher than the number of police forces of the West Bengal government. So there has been this tradition, and this has been ramped up. To that extent, Saket is correct in saying that the number of central forces that are coming in or are planned to come in may actually be much larger than what the state has. So there is a factor of overwhelming.
Right.
Overwhelming. That fear remains. That apprehension. I won't use the word apprehension, but they say that they are doing it so that the voters can vote freely. That's all.
Right. Two, three quick questions before I wind up the interview, Mr. Sarkar, is regarding the SIR process. Now, so many voter deletions, 60 lakh names of the voters have been deleted, and the dates of the elections have been announced. Now, do you think that election commission hurried it? I mean, in its primary duties, it should have ensured that the SIR process or the adjudication process, which is on, it should have got over and then only the announcement made. And now that CEC mentioned in his press conference that we'll keep adding the names when they come in the supplementary list. So where does it leave the
Yes,
voters?
yes,
There are
yes,
contests.
yes. There is a very, very big unprecedented mess in Bengal because of the adjudication cases. But remember two things. Adjudications have been actually engineered by political parties. One political party mainly that went into the Muslim district, printed lakhs and lakhs of objection forms known as Form 7 and pushed them in. So the number of adjudications, the staggering number of adjudications have been created by a political party to eliminate Muslim voters. But the other party is also not of saints. They have also played the game, but on a much lower scale elsewhere. Now, adjudication has been prompted by these interests, and the fact that we are going in for elections when adjudications cannot be decided means that a large section of voters, God knows, maybe 25, 30 lakh voters would not be able to vote because their names remained under adjudication till the time of polls. That is very, very tragic. That is very, very tragic.
But like
So,
also, there are so many sitting MLAs and across the party lines. It's just not BJP or TMC. Sitting MLAs whose names are in the adjudication list. Now, what do they do? Supposing if their names don't come up or some kind of a conclusion doesn't take place, what will they do? Will they not contest? What will happen? Because their fate hangs in balance.
huh. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Sarkar,
Uh,
your camera is
huh,
off. Switch on your
huh,
camera.
huh,
Camera is
huh.
off.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh God.
Now you go ahead, sir.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I think they'll make a provision for them because even if there's a complaint against them, the fact is they are existing. Huh? They can
Right.
bodily show themselves before the adjudicating officer and get what I call a fast track. For those few who will be standing as candidates, I think there will be some provision made because they don't need to be under the cloud. They need to come forward before the adjudicating officer and say, "Look, I am here. I've been an MLA or I've been a contestant, and why? What is your problem? What is your doubt?" The
Right.
only doubt that can be raised, and that's thanks only to Ganesh Kumar, is that you're not even a citizen of India. So that
Hmm.
is the only doubt. But otherwise, they should be able to stand for the elections
Right.
on fast track mode.
Right. My
Okay.
last question to you, sir. You took Gyanesh Kumar's name, and there is an impeachment motion pending against Gyanesh Kumar. Now, we saw an impeachment motion against Om Birla. After the impeachment notice was submitted, he stayed away from office, and that's what the general norm is. But here, in case of Mr. Gyanesh Kumar, he seems to be still on the seat. Is that a fair assessment?
He has certain ways of acting that are not normal for an IAS officer or for a dignified official. That's all I can say. He has put the office of the Election Commission on the dock after more than 75 years of splendid performance. Now, this gentleman alone, one drop of urine can spoil the whole milk, as you know. So, one person can bring in havoc just because he has certain political ambitions or political biases, and that is very, very tragic. We had opposed this board of selection in Parliament. I was there in Parliament because we knew exactly what the game plan of the two other members, the Home
Okay. Do you
Minister and the
think he
Prime
should be
Minister.
continuing as CEC
I
when the
don't think.
impeachment
I
was
no.
pending?
I don't think he should continue. He
Right.
should move away for some time until the impeachment is decided. Either way.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. All
Thank
right. Thank you,
you.
sir.
Bye.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining on the Federal. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.